Does Mexico has the left, the right?
Of course. There's a left and a right. There's conservatives and then there's liberals in every country.
But cartels are on the left and on the right as well?
On the left side. Yeah,
oh, they're on the left only?
Of course. Where's Google?
Left, of course.
Where's Facebook?
Yeah, but they want to... So, hear me out. This is the article I read a few weeks ago. Let me get to this article. U.S. considers a rare antitrust move, breaking up Google. How is it possible?
Monopoly. Yeah, we don't allow companies to monopolize in America.
But they support you. They support the left, and the left wants to break you up. How can you support the left?
Well, because that's all smoke and mirrors, bro. All they're going to do is make other companies and unite them. It's like AT&T. Remember when they split up AT&T a while back?
No.
Oh, you were not in the country.
No.
They split it. AT&T, they split up. Then they went to Singular Wire. I don't remember the name. People are going to get all stupid in the comments. I don't remember the fucking names. I just remember at one point AT&T got split up. So AT&T went to like Singular, and then it split up in multiple different companies. And then it became one strong one again. It's just smoking mirrors, bro.
We're doing something, right? Yeah, we're fighting against monopoly.
We're fighting against monopoly. No, you're fucking not, bro. The money's it's gonna come to your lobby. It's just gonna come from different accounts now. All you did was you split up that one big account into multiple smaller accounts and make it seem to you and me that they're actually doing something against monopoly, but they're really not. The money's still gonna come out of those accounts to go into their lobbies.
I struggle with one question. So Mexico is like this for decades now, right? Mm-hmm. For how long? 50 years?
50, 60, 50 years probably. Yeah.
Will it ever going to change?
If the cartels would stop operating today, the Mexican economy would collapse.
Because they bring all the money from the U.S.
They bring all
because
the money,
you're the customer.
Brother, 66% of drugs, the money that comes into Mexico
is from the U.S.
No, it's from other parts of the world now.
They're global.
It's global. They have euros coming in. They have money from. They have euros. They have European money. I don't know the names of all the money. I'm not gonna pretend like I know. I don't study that shit. They have currency from all over the world, and everything's digital now. So believe it or not, sure, America is a big consumer of the product. America's not bigger than Africa. America's not bigger than Europe. Okay? America's not bigger than South America.
But it's not because the U.S. consumption been lowered. That's because the cartel got bigger and bigger and bigger.
66% of the drugs that are made in Mexico right now are not all coming to America. They're actually going to Middle Eastern and European countries. So to think that the economy in Mexico is being sustained only by the American consumer is actually factually incorrect. It only makes up 44% of the economy in Mexico. But matter of fact, I'll send you the article through text. 2-3 years ago, they caught like 4 or 5 of Chapo's cousins in Spain that were operating for the Sinaloa cartel in Spain. And they caught them. And they've caught them in Ecuador. They've caught them in Spain. They've caught them in Germany. They've caught them all over the world. There's operatives all over the world right now that are working for these cartels that are the distributors of those countries, the representatives of the cartels in those countries. So, sure, America is a huge consumer and it always will be. But the reality is there's more money to be made sending that shit overseas. Having your drugs go from Tijuana, Baja California to San Diego, California is nowhere near as expensive as going from Mexico, one of the ports, to
Spain.
A kilo, I'm just giving an example, I don't know these numbers. A kilo could cost you, let's just say cocaine can cost you $6,000 in Mexico. It's going to cost you $50,000 in Europe. They actually prefer to sell out of the continent because they get a hell of a lot more money for it. So what they've done is they've bought shell companies, they've bought transport companies, they've bought cargo ships, they've bought brick companies. And so what they do with the brick companies is that they make the bricks thicker They put the cocaine inside or whatever drug they're using, and they're shipping it. So the cartels own legitimate companies to transport their drugs through the ocean. They've got very savvy about things like this. So, yeah.
The materials goes from Afghanistan to China, from China to Mexico, from Mexico all around the world.
You got to remember though, it's Afghanistan only has one part of the. It takes multiple things, right, to make the drug.
Yeah.
So all the materials are in different countries.
But they're not in Mexico.
Well, a lot of them are not. So they come to Mexico to get made. So like you get something from the Philippines, from Afghanistan, from China. Those are 3 different countries. They would have to create their own cartels to import their stuff, but they're not going to do that. They bring it all to Mexico or to Panama or to Colombia. They make it there and then they ship it out from that point out. Like, American cars in South America, they're made in Mexico and in America. How come they don't make them over there? Well, because we have all the parts here. They're American made. So that's the way we do things in America when it comes out to vehicles. I bought a brand new GMC truck today. Everything's made in America. Tells me where every part was made. It's kind of the same concept, except those drugs are being made by materials from different countries. So Mexico is a hub. Mexico is a modern day Colombia.
So it's never gonna end.
No, I don't believe it to be. The Mexican economy would collapse without drug money.
Yeah, but 200 years ago, 150 years ago, there was this company, East Indian company, that brought from Britain the drugs to China, for instance, right? Mm-hmm. The company was huge. It almost had their own army, but they collapsed. Yeah. Maybe that's the thing that's going to happen to cartels as well.
I mean, cartels have now stopped operating in Colombia, right? They still operate. Sure, Pablo's not there anymore, but they still operate. So I have a cousin that's in Colombia right now, and I've never, you guys follow me, I've never hidden the fact of what some of my family has been involved in. It's no secret, I have cousins in Colombia right now that are, representing Mexico over there. So it is what it is. That's never going to stop, and by the way, the government doesn't want it to stop. The American government doesn't want it to stop. How do you think they fund all the Central American wars? They can't use tax dollars. So the CIA, by the way, in Mexico, the training camps that they have for the cartels, CIA agents have gone over there to train them. See, when you live in Mexico, you see all this shit and you know it.
Trained to do what?
To weapons. Taught them how to, like Fast and the Furious was only a way to, remember when Obama did Fast and the Furious? Where he put a bunch of AKs and then put trackers inside of them. He put GPSs inside. It's called Fast and the Furious. You can look it up, Fast and the Furious Obama. He got a bunch of AKs, put trackers inside of them, or like low jacks or whatever, so they can see where the guns were going. Well, mysteriously, all the chips got off of the guns and they shipped them on into Mexico. Those guns made it to Central America to overthrow some of the governments down there in South America. That's what happens. Mexico is a needed evil because whatever work America can't do in Central and South America, all they say is, we're going to let you operate, but be quiet, and we need some of this money to go down south. So they're using dark money, if that makes sense. And this is a part that's mind-boggling for people. They can't fathom the idea of what I'm saying. By the way, there's been CIA whistleblowers that have came out and said this. I lived in Mexico. I have family there. I know how they operate. I know what they do. I know how everything is being ran. Not because I'm involved in it, it's just I'm from Mexico and I'm from one of the parts that has the most cartel activity in all of Mexico. By the way, you could ask a kid that grew up in a town that has no family members in it. He's going to tell you how it works. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just me. People that live there know this stuff. They see the white boys walking around. They see the trucks. They see the sicarios are watching these white boys training them. It's not a secret for people that are close to it in Mexico. A kid that grew up in poverty that's could be my neighbor, can see the same shit that I can see, though he may not be involved. I don't know if I'm making sense. You don't have to be involved to see what's happening.
Too obvious.
So fucking obvious. So that's the way they've operated. You got to send this money down to south. We need it in Venezuela. We need it in Honduras. We need it in El Salvador. We need it in... So we're going to let you operate, but you will send that money down there.
Do you have any explanation why did they switch to fentanyl?
I don't know. I don't know. It's so potent though, but I don't know why I wouldn't know. That's more Sinaloa's doing that more. I'm not from Sinaloa, so I don't know why. They're the ones that are really.
Do you have a lot of drug addicts in Mexico?
You're actually, ironically, you're not allowed to use fentanyl and meth in Mexico. You're not allowed to. You'll be killed. First of all, they won't let you sell it, so you can't even get it. If that makes sense.
So the cartel does not sell.
You'll die. You will be killed. So they make it in Mexico, but that's distributed to America. Okay. Cocaine gets spread out by something called narcomenudeo. Okay, meaning that we're cartels and we ship 2-3 tons to America, right? And then I'm talking in a figure speech. I'm not simulation. I'm not talking about me doing this, but then they'll have 30, 40, 50 keys that stay in town, and then you're a smaller distributor. So then you're the one in charge. Like I'll open up a brick of cocaine, and then you take an ounce, 2 ounces, 3 ounces, and you sell on the streets, and then you come and pay me for them. And so you're selling my drugs.
Yes.
You make your cut.
Yes.
But you're selling my drugs. So that's why they can control what gets sold in Mexico. So they will not let you sell meth because you won't even have access to the meth. Does that make sense?
Because you produce it.
Because we're the producer, so we control. Again, figure of speech. Figure of speech. I'm not talking about literal. If I'm the cartel, I control what gets sold, what gets released to the public, and what doesn't. Kind of like TikTok. You know how TikTok is China made, even though they want to deny it, but yet people in China can't use it for what we use it for. Does that make sense? It's the same concept.
The content is different.
Oh, of course. They can't do the content in China is different for their TikTok than what we use it for. They're not allowed to search certain things or do certain things on their TikTok. So because in Mexico, figure of speech again, if I'm the cartel, I determine what gets distributed in my country or who doesn't because I'm the one packaging it. Does that make sense? So there's a general consensus amongst all the cartels that you're not going to poison your own people. So the most they'll let you do is cocaine.
But that's like the story from The Godfather, right? I'm not going to sell the drugs. Then the war happens.
Yeah. No, because with The Godfather, they were not allowed to sell drugs. Yeah. Over here, you're allowed to sell cocaine because the cartels are the ones that are selling it.
But you're not allowed to sell.
You're not allowed
fentanyl.
to sell meth and fentanyl, which the distributors could not get a hold of anyway, because the one that gives it to them is the cartels. So the cartels don't give it to you. You're not getting a hold of that drug. I don't know if that makes sense. So therefore, there's no way for you to access that drug because the makers of it are there with you. So if they don't give you access to it, you can't go somewhere else and get it. Make sense? So therefore, fentanyl is being shipped to America, and so is meth. But you get caught doing, if for whatever reason, in which it doesn't happen because you can't even get a hold of it. But if they catch you with meth or fentanyl for personal use or for your selling, you're done, bro. You're dead. You're as good as dead. You're not gonna make it out of there.
Because you know it's so good.
Well, because you know it's gonna fuck your people up. You don't want to fuck up your own people.
You want to fuck up Americans.
You want to fuck up other
teenagers.
People. Yeah, you want to fuck up other people. I mean, it's not that you want to. You just don't care. It's not your country. Going back to, if cartels won't even sell their drugs to their own people, why would you vote in an election of a country you don't live in?